here with you all again. I'm just so excited for this continued all-day live broadcast for GMID 21 edition. Our next guest, I am so excited to introduce you to Carina Bauer from the Worldwide Exhibition for Incentive Travel Meetings and Events, which is better known as IMEX. And Carina is here to talk about the great consumer shift, how it affects exhibit events, and how our industry may navigate post-pandemic. We really want to know what's going to happen here in the future. And so I'm excited for you to meet her right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. Deborah Gardner here with my very special guest and friend, Carina Bauer. Hi, Carina.
Hi, nice to see you, Deborah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Happy GMID Day. That's all from all over the world, including from where you're from, all the way from Brighton, UK, right?
That's right. Yep, we're here now.
Well, I am so honored to have you here. And we know we've known each other for quite some time, never had the quality time that I'm getting with you today, but so looking forward to this conversation. And I think the first time I ever got a chance to have a conversation with you was when I think I sent you my book, How to Sell to Men Without Wearing a Low-Cut Dress.
Yeah, that's right.
That's about when we started talking. And again, I'm so happy to have the quality time with you today, all the way from the UK. Now, I know you are a role model, a complete role model for our industry. There's no doubt. Can you share with our viewers how you actually got started with IMEX? Because I love the story about your dad involved.
Yes, well, obviously, you know, my father, Ray's been involved with the exhibition industry since the early 80s. And then in late 80s, he launched his show for the business events and incentive travel industry, which at the time was called EIBTM. And now he sold it to Reed, who still own that show. And that takes place in Barcelona. So I had knowledge of the industry and was sort of, you know, attended some of the industry conferences in the US and obviously attended that show as a school child. And then when he launched IMEX, he actually launched IMEX in 2003 with the first show taking place in 2003 in Frankfurt. And I actually joined the team in 2002. I was intending just to join for the first show because I was kind of between things, actually. It was, you know, trying to decide what to do, whether to go for an MBA or whether to get a job. And one of the launch team fell ill. So I just joined in to help. And here I am nearly 20 years later. So, yeah, so that I kind of fell into it in that sense. But I think, you know, I kind of found my home and I you know, kind of grew up in the industry, really. I realized that in hindsight.
Oh, that's great. Keep it all in the family. I love that, no doubt. But yeah, when you grow up in this industry, it's embedded in you. I mean, I've tried a couple times to get out of the industry and I'm like, nah, it's not going to happen. It just keeps drawing you back in. So what better way than to be in a position with IMEX, because it is such a global event. And I'm just excited for when things do turn around so we all can get back to those events. And I know on an international perspective, it's been frustrating. You know, like here in the US, it's been a moving target. You just never know day to day what is going to be happening. And the New York Times here in the US reported last week that the country is currently dealing with a third wave of COVID over there, and with even the chance of not even reopening till May 17th. Is that correct?
Here in the UK, we had a significant second wave, actually,
Oh,
which
okay.
started around November time, if you look at the graph,
Okay.
but really peaked in mid to end of January. So we're coming down off of that second wave curve. And as a result, but at the same time as a very strict lockdown since about Christmas, the government started vaccinating very fast. So we're at about 60% of the adult population having had their first vaccination, and I think about 10% their second. So what the government's doing is vaccinating fast, but doing a very slow reopening so that the virus doesn't get ahead of the vaccinations. So I think that that's a sensible policy. And yeah, we're expecting that on May the 17th, we'll be able to travel a little bit again, and that restaurants and shops and the like will be fully open. The government's hoping that by mid to end June, social distancing regulations will be over, and we can get back to a fairly normal life. Whether that happens or not, we'll see. But at the moment, I think we're quite hopeful here in the UK. I think for me, I'm just avidly watching the borders because I'm desperate to come out to the States and, see everybody. I'm hoping to be at WEC in Las Vegas in June. So my fingers are crossed. My bag is packed. I'm ready to go.
That is true. And we can't wait to get over to your side of the world as well. It's amazing how we, at least for me, I took advantage of what I do and where I traveled. And now I know I'll never take advantage of it again and enjoy the adventure more now than ever. That's for sure. So it sounds like there's light at the end of the tunnel in your backyard, in our backyard. We just need to be patient and let the CDC do their thing. And I'm sure we'll get back to in person very, very soon, as you may say as well. So let's talk about the consumer behavior, especially when it comes to events like IMEX. The post-pandemic outlook in the exhibit world. What will the buyer's behavior be like? Are there expectations? The buyer-supplier relationship going to be different? And I'm talking about internationally and US based.
Yeah, I think if you look medium term, I'm not sure that the behavior is going to be so significantly different. I think if you look at all of the destinations that have really suppressed the virus and eliminated it, if you look at destinations like New Zealand, Australia, some of the Asian destinations, they are back to doing in-person events, they're back to doing trade shows. And the behavior and those interactions aren't so different to before. I think probably what's changed is our understanding of how we utilize the digital world to really enhance and extend those interactions. And I think that's what we'll see developing and changing as we go forward. I see that digital side developing and suppliers and the organizers as well being able to use it far more effectively to drive those interactions. That, I think, will be the biggest change. But I think I think people are desperate to have that face-to-face contact. And I think as long as the safety situation is clear, as long as people feel safe, I don't think the physical interaction will be massively different to before.
So are you saying that when we're talking about digital virtual world affecting the face-to-face exhibits, is there a strategy at IMEX to make that more comfortable for attendees? And I would imagine it's going to enhance more than disrupt. So what is IMEX strategy behind that?
Well, I think for us, our primary strategy is to get back to the physical events. That's our number one goal, that we can put on fantastic, safe, and valuable physical trade shows again, both this November in Las Vegas and then looking forward to April next year in Frankfurt, and giving people what they have missed so desperately, which is to meet each other face to face. Secondary to that, we then look at how can we use the tools that we already have and build them out further to develop those interactions. I think what we've all learned is there's clearly an opportunity to help our exhibitors and the buyers within the industry to connect more frequently in the online world between the shows. I don't think that interaction and connection can be or should be the same as the way they connect in real life, in that physical environment. But there's clearly more that we and other organisers can do to extend and enhance those relationships between the shows. And I think the physical interaction will be better for that. When you have the physical interaction, when you have a shared experience, you can really develop that relationship, and then you can extend it in between those times when you see each other. And I think that's what we found over the past year as well. You know, it's been easy enough to take the relationships that we already have across the industry and continue them online, because we've already had so many shared experiences that have been so valuable in building those. So I think it's about mixing those things together to make a really fantastic extended relationship for people. And I think that's our strategy. So number one is the physical shows. And then number two is really what we're working on at the moment, and we'll be launching soon, is we're launching an experience that will start in May and run through to September. And that's really our experiment, if you will, of how we can help the industry interact in a different, less transactional way, actually, through shared human connections in the digital world. And we'll learn a lot from that to see how we can then extend those relationships between the shows.
Oh, brilliantly said. I like that idea. Wow, that really makes a difference in my mindset on the virtual side, because a lot of people don't know what to expect and what they're, where's the ROI? And if you're saying it's all about connecting and taking it to a new level, that makes clearly good sense. Now, when it comes to in-person, how can, in particular, suppliers want to engage prospective buyers at in-person exhibit events like IMEX, but how can they find their value when dealing with buyers when they attend these events and they're buyers right in front of them? How can they, what does their value look like, and what can they do?
I think, what we've learned, haven't we, in the online world, is that it's very hard to get that true connection and relationship and experience, that 4D, if you like, four-dimensional experience in the online world. So I think that's where, as an exhibitor or supplier, I would start, because what is it that you can do in the physical world? What can you deliver as value to that person sitting in front of you that you can't deliver in the online world? And it's usually around some kind of experience, a shared experience, and relationship building. And I would focus on that rather than the truly or purely transactional, because that differentiates you. If you think about it now, and we're thinking very carefully about this, if somebody has made an effort to get out of their home, to get on a plane, to stay in a hotel, to be at that physical event, whether it's a trade show like IMEX or whether it's a conference like WEC that will take place in June, then we need to make sure that the experience that we're providing them is special and something that they can only get when they're there. And that is what I would say to suppliers to differentiate themselves and to make them really stand out. And the other thing I would say is that buyers are looking for purpose. They're looking to see what your sustainability credentials are, your CSR programs, and I would really think about selling your destination or your services around that purpose, something that's meaningful to your brand and to who you are as a business. And I think that as well cuts through very strongly.
Oh, great ideas. I like that a lot. And so, as we're still talking about in-person events, this year's GMID theme is Meet Safe. How can in-person exhibit events like IMEX keep attendees safe when conducting business together, showcasing their products, or just plainly communicating with each other?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say obviously things are moving very fast, both in our general safety and the environment around us, what's required of us, and also what the authorities are recommending for events as well. So we need to keep abreast of that. We need to be able to adapt to that very quickly and very flexibly. What we're focusing on at IMEX is the flow and the environment. I think certainly over the next few months at least, if not a bit longer, I think people's sort of concern about being in crowded spaces is going to be higher than it was before. And so we're looking very much at how we flow people, how we make sure it's a very comfortable experience. And I would say that that's important on the booths as well, that the exhibitors as well are thinking about the experience they're delivering on their little portion of the event and how they can really make people feel very comfortable and have space and have their personal space, if you like. There are all the safety requirements, you know, masks and hand sanitizer. As an organizer and as a venue, we're working very closely with our venue in terms of enhanced cleaning protocols, and also as organizers looking at the ventilation of your space, so working with your venues on that. So for example, our venue, Mandalay Bay, have upgraded their ventilation so that they are actually replacing the air within the convention center 12 times an hour. So that's the same levels of ventilation as you'd find in an intensive care unit at a hospital. And so I think those kinds of things, making sure that the attendees and indeed the exhibitors are aware of all of those safety procedures that they can see and also those that they can't see, is really important for creating a very safe and comfortable environment. And that's the word really for us is about comfort, because there are lots of ways to provide that, and thinking really about the customer experience again. And that's something that I would, the design of the event, and that's something that we've talked about in the industry for so many years, is really coming to the fore now, to design both the flow and then the overall experience very carefully.
Well, today's one word definitely is about experience. This is the second conversation I've had earlier with Derek Johnson, and his tactic is, oh yeah, it's all about the experience. And if you focus in that area, you'll have be able to strategize around it to make it work. We do have some of your fans commenting and asking some questions. First of all, we have Visibly Media that has a great question to tag on what you just said. How do we avoid overselling the experience to pandemic-weary attendees?
Well, I mean, I don't know what kind of events, you know, that you're looking at, but I think that pandemic-weary attendees are very desperate for experiences. So I think you just have to hit it, you know, right. Don't overpromise. Certainly, don't promise things that you can't deliver. But I think it's about finding the uniqueness in the experience that you can provide. And then attendees will vote with their feet, as they always do.
Oh, excellent, excellent. That really makes a lot of sense as well. And it's going to be interesting because I think everybody's really excited to get back to in person. And of course, you know, IMEX Frankfurt is going to wait until April 2022, but IMEX America is November 9th through the 11th in Las Vegas. And that is known to set the pace for doing business on an international scale anyway. What should our industry expect when deciding to attend a big event like IMEX? You know, it should be okay by November. I mean,
yeah, I mean, obviously, we very much hope that the whole world will be in a very different place by November, and certainly we feel that the US and Europe, the UK will as well. You know, it's all about the vaccine rollout and the opening of international travel, quite frankly. So we're pretty confident about November. You know, we're happy to be in the sort of in Q4, that's for sure. I think in terms of what to expect, obviously, as I've said, you know, focusing very much on the comfort and the safety and the overall experience for attendees, but also what I would say is, what we're seeing is enormous demand actually from both our supplier base and buyer base from the US, but all around the world to attend the show. Obviously, for some destinations, it depends on travel routes, it depends on whether they're allowed out of the country. But our expectation is that the majority of our exhibitors will be back and are really keen to see their clients, and our clients are really excited to come. And we've had a lot of demand, especially from Europeans, because we can't deliver the Frankfurt show this year, wanting to come to America. So I think in terms of what to expect, I think people can expect a vibrant, busy, and quite significantly sized trade show as they would expect normally. But of course, making sure that things are maybe a bit more spread out than they normally would be, and the flows are a little bit different, just to ensure that people are really comfortable and have a really great experience in that regard. And I hope that people, and obviously everybody will make a personal decision about how comfortable they feel, but certainly our intention is to make it as safe as we possibly can, so that people really have a good experience, and get back to business and get back to what this industry does best, which is meet face to face, do business, and really hopefully power it into 2022.
And the sooner we do it, the better off we're all going to be. So
Absolutely.
Advocating for that 200%. So I agree with you, though. I think November will be so much better and in a better place overall. And everybody will really be extremely excited to be in Las Vegas, and looking forward to Frankfurt as well. So as our time is wrapping up here with all this great information, on a personal note, what has this pandemic time taught you or validated?
I suppose, it has validated how important our industry is, how important it is to meet face to face. Certainly, it's taught me that I really value seeing people face to face. I value the people that I work with from all around the world. And it's also just really shown me how amazing our team are, not just the IMEX team, but right across the industry, how adaptable and creative and resilient the industry has been. I think it's been extraordinary. If you think about in the first wave of the pandemic, I think I saw a statistic that said that our industry was at 6% capacity globally. I mean, that's just extraordinary, that actually how resilient people have been. So I just can't wait to see people and celebrate that resilience and help people get back on their feet for 2022.
Yeah, that'll be really, really great. And we have a comment of Jocko, who says he just can't wait. He just cannot wait. And I'm like, I'm with you on that.
Absolutely. We're with you. Okay.
We're all excited and just ready to get out of our jammies and get into my business suit if I can fit in it anymore after being at home all this time. So I've got one more question for you, and I've been asking a lot of our guests here on this special GMID edition that gratitude is something that we always look for a silver lining pertaining to this experience. Any gratitude message that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Well, I have also enjoyed being at home. I spent more time at home. The weather was fabulous in the first lockdown, so I was very grateful for that. I was able to spend time in my garden, which was lovely, spend more time with my kids. And I'm also very grateful I was able to travel 3 times last year, and I timed it right, and I was enormously grateful for those travel experiences and those hospitality experiences. And again, that sort of just verified for me how important travel is, how rejuvenating it is, and how great our industry is to adapting, because they were all fantastic, extraordinary hospitality experiences. So yeah, I was very, very grateful for all of those things.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, we're grateful that you were able to join us here on Hospitality Today Live, and to help celebrate GMID 21, because it is, as we know, a global message, advocacy, and with over 35 countries involved in this all today with so many events around the world. We're just grateful that and show our gratitude that you were able to join it with, spend it with us as well. So thank you again. Appreciate it. And we'll see you at IMEX.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I appreciate that too.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. We had the brilliant businesswoman, Carina Bauer, who is with IMEX. And boy, what a great role she is for our industry and what she has done for our industry as well. And so if you'd like to see this replay or share it with anyone, by all means, just go to our Hospitality Today Live Facebook page or YouTube, and you'll be able to watch it again and definitely share it with others. And if you have any comments or questions, by all means, let us know by emailing us at hello@hospitalitytodaylive.com. And of course, we want to continue expressing our gratitude for our sponsor for GMID is AIM Meetings and Events, home of the no-cost COVID testing program. And I'm going to give you a website that I really would love for you to write down because I know you're going to want to know that information. It's inspiretesting.com/at-home/AIM. AIM. And so you'll want to go and check it out because having a no-cost COVID testing program in your home couldn't be any better way to find out what you want to know. And AIM Meetings and Events provides that for you. So let's talk about who's up next. And I am just ready to keep going and having this continued live broadcast conversation. But this time, I'm going to have the pleasure to talk with the president and CEO of Professional Convention Management Association, better known as PCMA, CEA Sheriff Karamat. Sheriff will actually talk with us about his passion on the value of our industry and what it means on this important GMID 21 day. So definitely hang out, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back in a few minutes.